In this video, I'm going to show you 4 different lenses that you can get for the Sony A6000 for under $100. Hey everybody, welcome to Dan Bullman Photography. Now we all know that photography can become an expensive hobby, so if you're on a really tight budget, it can be tough to get the lenses that you need. This is one of the reasons I bought the Sony A6000 when I was a broke college student. The A6000 is a great, budget-friendly camera and has a lot of cheap lens options that you can use for this camera. But what if you're on a really tight budget? Like a really tight budget, like under $100. Well, in this video, I'm gonna show you 4 different lenses that you can get for under $100. Now, all of these lenses mount directly to the A6000, so there's no need for an adapter. Without further ado, let's dive into the lenses. The first lens I'm gonna talk about is the Neewer 50mm f2. Now, you can get this lens for a little over $60 and have a great starter portrait lens for your camera. Now, this is an all manual focus lens, and in fact, all the lenses in this video are manual focus because you're gonna have to spend more than $100 to get autofocus, man. Now, the aperture ring on this camera moves without clicks, and this is because it was designed with video in mind. So whenever you're adjusting the aperture on the lens, you definitely want to be paying attention to the markers on there to make sure you're setting it to the settings that you want to. Now, it's not the sharpest lens in the world, particularly around the edges. This is a particularly common problem for inexpensive lenses. But hey, it's only $60 and you're gonna get a great value for that price. Next on the list is the Neewer 28mm f2.8. Now, this lens is a pancake lens, which makes it compact and ideal for travel. Now, like the 50mm lens, this lens has an all-metal construction and it's about 40 grams heavier than similar Sony lenses like the 16mm f2.8. Now again, don't expect this to be the sharpest lens in the world or have the highest image quality. There's also some noticeable barrel distortion and some shading around the edges of the frame. However, the lens is pretty sharp at the center, and for only $63, you're getting a decent lens that you can use for everyday walking around photos. Now, the third lens on our list, and again, all of these are going to be linked up in the description, is the 7 Artisans 25mm f1.8 lens. Now, this lens is very sharp in the center, even when shot wide open at f1.8. However, there is a lot of shading and distortion on the edges of the frame, which is going to affect your overall picture quality. Again, people, these are very cheap lenses, and it takes a lot of money to build quality optics, so you get what you pay for. But for only $70, you're going to be getting a lens that performs very well overall. Great job, 7 Artisans. Now, finally, we come to the fastest lens on the list, the Neewer 35mm f1.7, which you can get for around $90. Now, like the 50mm and the 28mm, it has a similar build quality. It has all metal construction, a clickless aperture ring, and manual focus. Now again, this is not the sharpest lens, but you're gonna be able to take some decent photos with it, and it is fairly fast for what it is. You'll also get some of that swirly bokeh, which has become very famous from vintage lenses like the Helios 44-2. Now, what are the alternatives to some of these lenses? Would I buy one of the lenses on this list? Well, considering that you can get adapters for around $20, I don't see why you wouldn't just go out and look at some of the famous film lenses that have been produced throughout the 20th century. There are lots of great options out there, especially for under $100. Now, in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be making a video on the M42 lenses that I've used with my Sony A6000. So I'll be posting that on my channel very soon. But if you just don't want to mess with adapters and you just want a lens that you can just grab and go, the options in this video can be great for you and your budget. Now again, I've linked up all of these lenses in the description if you're interested in checking those out. Now, if you like these videos, be sure to subscribe to Dan Bullman Photography to stay up to date on my latest content. We'll see you soon, folks. This has been another episode of Dan Bullman Photography. Peace.